Good morning, it's September 5th. A pretty nice morning. It's 13 when I got up. Going to 33 though, so it's going to be a hot one. This is Monday, which is of course the day I normally walk along the creek, which I will do in some fashion, varying it a little bit. Labor Day. We went to the football game yesterday. We lost. Well, not us personally, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders did. And of course, tragic day in Saskatchewan yesterday, you will have heard in the news. I mean, it's all over the world. There was a major stabbing incident up at the James Cree First Nation in a little community called Weldon, not far from there. 10 people killed and another 15 wounded, and the perpetrators are still at large, and they think they're here in Regina, so I think we're unlikely to have any chance of running into them on this walk, but they might be somewhere in the city. They were in a vehicle, and there was they might have been spotted over on Arcola Avenue yesterday. So they're probably lying low somewhere. They might have split up. They could be. However, there's an intensive manhunt going on, so I don't think they're going to be out walking me around on the streets around here. So we'll take our chances. Kind of a haze in the air. I almost thought when I got up there was forest fire smoke, but there hasn't really been any talk of forest fire smoke this year. I'm going to go up here and I'll walk along the dike on a different side than I sometimes do. I'll actually turn the corner here and I don't usually take quite this path, so trying to vary things a bit. Still nice and green and summery. You do start to see a little bit of yellow in the trees. On the writing front, got a whole bunch of metadata entry I have to do. Very, very boring. On all the books that Shadowpaw Press is publishing, so I can get them into something called Book Manager, which is used by bookstores across the country. And then my new distributor, Alpine Book Peddlers, needs all that information in there too, so I'll probably work on that some today. We're also having somebody over to see our new deck. The deck is finished. The rest of the backyard is a mess, but the deck is built. That's my brother there says it's smoky out his way, which is Coots, Alberta, and so there might be some smoke headed this way, but I don't think that's what it was. I think it was probably just morning fog and also the morning light. You know, the days are getting shorter, so I get up and I expect it to be as light as it was in June, and in fact the sun has not been up nearly as long now, so that's probably some of it too, just that kind of orange morning light. Hi, Kirk in Vancouver. I have walked this way, but I usually walk this way when I come back. I don't usually walk this way when I'm going. There's some yellow in those trees. Sort of work going on over there. Our workmen in our backyard are not coming today on Labor Day. Oddly enough, you'd think you'd labor on Labor Day. So this is Garnet Street coming up where I used to live, so I might as well walk down by the house I used to live in. This is Cameron, the next one's Garnet. This one takes you to the footbridge, but I'm not crossing the footbridge today. Not till I come back. Oh, I'm 1 block further than I think. No, I won't walk by the house I lived in. I thought I had another block to go to the south, but I don't. Those steps up there where I'm headed to get onto the dike. To the left here is the bowl where the tobogganers toboggan in the wintertime. It's actually a flood control depression. But in the wintertime when it's full of snow, it's full of tobogganers and sledders. So this is Garnet Street, the street I first lived on in this neighborhood. This used to be one of the oldest houses in the neighborhood, but it got torn down and a brand new one was built in this very fine location. So up that way is the house I used to live in. It's not much to look at, but it's there. It's still there. Houses around it have been torn down and new ones built, but that old one is still there. Just a box. It had 2 bedrooms which opened directly off of the living room, which opened directly to the kitchen, which had the bathroom off of it, making a perfect rectangle. No hallway, just rooms. Worked, especially for me as a bachelor. Okay, well, we'll see a little bit of the creek here. Up here. Onto the dike. Behold the dike. Behold the creek. Wascana Creek. Wascana Creek. Even though it's still fairly cool, I can feel the warmth of the sun, which is kind of a sign of the... Oop, squirrel. Literally distracted me from what I was saying. A sign of the warmer air to come as the day goes along. I didn't walk over the weekend. Saturdays I'm always kind of busy with errands, and then Sunday we had the football game, and plus the public safety warning, so it was an excuse not to walk, I think, but I took it. Very still today. You can see the trees on the other side are quite nicely reflected in the water this morning. This is not my first dog of the day. There's always a dog, and often more than one. Again, if I started doing bingo, that would be one of the things. It's a very bright orange leash she's got. Morning. From Paris, does that say? No, Peru. San from Peru. I could just see the capital P and then I kind of guessed at the rest. Peru, not Paris. Very different places. Different languages. Anyway, welcome. See all the berries down here in the bushes. Choke cherries. Not really edible. So I assume that's what they are. I think that, I don't know, growing up in the prairies, anything that was red and you couldn't eat, we called it a choke cherry, but it's probably a different species. If it's purple and you can't eat it, it's a Saskatoon. If it's red and you can't eat it, it's a choke cherry. The Elphinstone Bridge coming into view over there. We're going to zigzag and good morning. One creepy guy sitting by himself on the bench. Let's not give a warm fuzzy this particular morning. There's the not a very photogenic bridge, Petty Bridge. Okay, we're going to cross up this way now, which is a little different. I'm going to go walk on the other side of the creek rather than walking along the creek anymore. Let's take a look at it though. There it is. Very still this morning. Here's the horseshoe pitch. No horseshoes being pitched. There are never any horseshoes being pitched here. Once in a year and a half of walking have I seen anybody pitching horseshoes. But that probably just has to do with the time when I come by. I'm going to walk down on the other side of the street, stay in the neighborhood over there. Because I haven't been over there for a while. Good morning. Look down over here. It's to be different. So we're actually leaving the creek until we get back to it when I'm closer to the end of the walk. Now, I have tried zigzagging here, but it never quite works because all of these streets do weird things. But perhaps I can go in one. Another dog on the other side of the street. 18th Avenue. It says. I didn't just know that. Fortunately, they put up signs to tell you these things. It's kind of a pretty older style house. Yeah, this takes us straight up to Sheldon Williams Collegiate, which is fine. Not the school my daughter went to. She went to Luther. This is where she would have gone if she'd stayed in the public school system. Luther's a private school. This is where she used to come for band. The Sheldon Williams Area Music Program, the Swamp. So kids from various elementary schools in the area would all come here for band. She played trombone. Even took private lessons for a while. But never focused on it the way she would have had to, become a professional trombone player, which is probably fine. Well, we're on this side of the school. Okay. Not a very attractive side of the school. You can tell I'm walking west because of my shadow. Me and my shadow strolling down the avenue. Except it won't be an avenue. Well, I will walk by. This is Coronation Street, if you're a fan of that show. Little known fact that it's actually here in Saskatchewan. Here's Sheldon Williams, just to get a look at it before I go on. Resume walking. Sorry, westward. I think I said I was walking east. East and west. I always get those confused. If only there was some big glowing ball of gas in the sky that came up in the same direction every morning so you could use it to judge directions. That would be helpful. Oh wait, there is. Sheldon Williams. I think it was built in the 50s. This one. School's not back yet. Or if it is, maybe it was back on the. I think they did start it last week, but of course it's Labor Day, so it's a holiday. All right. Now we're strolling down the avenue because this is 18th Avenue again. If we walk west, we'll eventually come to Pasqua Street. See, somebody said something. I just can't see it because of the sun. But there's some shade coming up, and then I'll check. Let's see here. Can I give you a shout out? Well, sure. Addie Lynn Osborne. Welcome. In Florida. This is it's just a neighborhood not far from where I live. I don't live in this neighborhood, but it's not far. I can never remember the name of this neighborhood, but it's just north of Regina Avenue, and south of the creek. So there you go. You're going to look it up on Google Maps. Pleasant temperature right now. It's going to be warmer in the afternoon. By our standards, not by Florida standards. 33, I think, for a high today, Celsius, which is, let me think, around 90 Fahrenheit? 38 is 100, basically. So 33 is 5 degrees less, which means it's 9 degrees less. Yeah, right around 90 degrees Fahrenheit for a high today. So we are having a bit of a hot spot. I'll just keep going this way. The creek is down to my right. This is Pasqua Street coming up, I believe. Yeah, I actually want to go down a bit. So maybe I'll go across and I should stay on the side with the crosswalk, I guess. That way if they hit me, it's not my fault. Which is great comfort as you're lying in the intensive care unit. Nobody coming. Okay, if you go that way and turn right, you go to the airport down at those lights down there, Regina International Airport. I can hear airplanes from here. Something's taking off or landing, not a jet. And I think this is Edward Street up here, the street that's named after me. Well, they didn't know that when they named it, but I came along later to give it a reason for existence. Now we'll go back down to the right and rejoin the creek. It's garbage day. Well, they have the green ones for compost over here. Not compost, but lawn clippings and things like that. We don't have those yet, but that's a pilot project. I assume it'll eventually roll out right across the city. We just have the brown one for garbage and the blue one for recycling. Indeed, Edward Street. Welcome to my street. Edward Street. We go down here, we will find ourselves at the creek. Dun, 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 dun. And I just have to decide if I want to rejoin the creek to walk back, or if I loop around the back of Edward Street here, down the alley, maybe walk down Regina Avenue. To decide soon. Edward Street ends up here at the creek, basically. Maybe I'll go down the alley behind and go a little further down to the end of Edward Street and then cross back over there somewhere and walk back that way. So just a glimpse of the creek until we get back down to where I have to cross the footbridge to get home. It's a little different than my typical Monday walk. There's the barrier to keep you from driving into the creek. I should see the weir over there. That'll be where these trees are, I think, if I remember right. Yes, there it is. Not too active at the moment. It's been warm and dry, so it's a level control thing, so sometimes the water's pouring over it, and sometimes, like today, it's not pouring very fast. So here's the Louvain. I'll get out of here, there's nettles, which is the fast north-south route. Well, faster at this end. Further up there's lots of light, so I'm not sure how much faster it is than some of the others, but I'll just climb the hill here and get a view beyond. And the creek's down there. So apparently there used to be a road here, and then when the Louvain was built, it was disconnected. Anyway, so that's kind of an industrial area over there. There's the bridge. There's where that porta potty is over there is a 9-hole sand green golf course. And then if you went that away is the airport. The tower is kind of behind those trees, so you can't really see it from here, but it's over there. And you look out between the buildings and you're looking out into the prairie. There's the bike path I normally walk along on the other side of the creek, and in fact there's a bike on it just to prove my point. Okay, I'm going to go this way to head back, I think. Or am I? Yeah, I think so. It's a nice alley they have here. Nice alley you got. Be a shame if something happened to it. Probably get back over onto Edward Street rather than continuing to walk all the way down to the end of the alley, because I can't remember what happens down there. Must be some way through. No, I'll press on to the end of the alley. There's a police car sitting in the alley. RCMP, actually, I think. Not city police. Can't recognize the markings, but I think that's RCMP. Until we get closer, I can't be sure. No, it's city police. Oh, not sure what's there, why they are there. If it has anything to do with the escaped killers, which has made this a more interesting walk in the back of my mind, especially running into these strange guys sitting all by himself on the bench on the dike back there, who said, "Hey, boss, I'm not very photogenic. Do not engage. Keep walking." Don't think he was one of the guys they're looking for. But it did run through my mind. I hope I've got people watching the live stream, so if something happens, call 911. In Regina. I don't know how you do that from somewhere else, but or 999 in some countries. I don't know what they use in others, but those are the two I'm familiar with. $9.99 in the UK, I think. How do I know that? Because we're watching Ted Lasso. It came up. Which is a very funny show. I highly recommend it, actually. I didn't think I'd like it from, the setup and the premise, but I actually like it a lot. This is Regina Avenue, where you're seeing cars occasionally going left, right. And that takes you straight to the airport. But I am not going to the airport. Not on foot. Why? That'd take me a whole nother 20 minutes from here. Then I have to walk back. And I'm not sure how they feel about you walking around with a camera in front of the airport. Seems to me like they might take objection to that. Take objection, take offense, make objection. Sure, there's some way to the left up here, which will take us back to Pasco Street and on down Regina Avenue to home. So yeah, you can see the sign there, in fact, airport. I don't know what happens if I walk around this alley. Does it take me to a sidewalk, or will it just put me in a dead end? I think there'd be a sidewalk. There should be a sidewalk. At least I can get a look at the airport for you up here. For those who have not seen such a thing. And the really boring and not very well received public art they have marking the gateway here to the city from the airport. That's these mirrored things right there. Anyway, so there's the airport. Look, it even says airport. Exciting, huh? There's a sidewalk. Good. This will be a long straight walk down Regina Avenue. So a good place to practice your vanishing point if you're learning perspective in art. So we live very close to the airport. If we want to get to the airport, we need to be there. It takes all of 10, maybe 15, but I'd say 10 minutes to drop somebody off. A little longer, of course, to park and get out your luggage and go in and check in and fly away and all that, but you just get there about 10 minutes from our house. And you could totally walk it, although dragging your luggage, it would be a bit of a pain. And it's not very pedestrian friendly on the other side of Pasco Street, getting up to the airport. We're going to miss this light. We'll have to wait. That over there is a senior's home. I don't know what it's called. There's a sign. I'll know in a minute. It's called Santa Maria. That's what it's called. Our turn again. Fairly quick light because it's a major route to and from the airport, so don't have to wait too long for that one. And we continue down Regina Avenue. Even better vanishing point. Not quite. It rises slightly down there, so it doesn't go straight to the horizon. My usual hazard is tripping and falling, so this is the first time I can say I did a walk with escaped killers on the loose. Hopefully the last time. Hopefully they get them. Oh, somebody else said hello. Oh no. Already saw that one. Change hands here. That arm's getting tired of holding the gimbal. We are now walking due east. So if you went down that way, you'd go back around to Sheldon Williams again. Apartment buildings along here, and a single unit dwellings over there. That's actually a long-term care home there, and not that long ago we were there celebrating our old neighbor's 100th birthday. He's still there. Well over 100 now. He lived in the house next to our house for 50 years at least. And our house has been in my wife's family since 1939, so her grandparents were his neighbors and her parents, and then we were his neighbors. The house will be our house will be 100 years old in 4 years. So assuming I'm still around, which I plan to be, I'll have to do something to mark the house centennial, I think. By then some more of our renovations will be done. We're building a little extension on the back as well as the deck. And then after that we have to do things like repair the stucco and paint everything and do some landscaping and new windows in the front in particular. At least, assuming we can afford it. That's what we would like to do eventually. So over there is Sheldon Williams, where I walked down that back side of it earlier. Let's make sure we're going here. Is it going to get me? No, I think that water's just barely touching the sidewalk. I missed me. Now down here, you go back to single family dwellings, no apartment buildings. Oh, Maureen, hello. Yes, it is a nice day, although it's going to 33 in the afternoon, so it's going to be much warmer in a few hours. It was only 13 when I got up. I suspect it's already up around 20 now, maybe a little under. But the low tonight is 11, so this is the time of year where no matter how hot it gets during the day, It usually cools off a lot at night. And we're certainly within the window of when we might run into frost as well. So any time now there could be a cold front come in and there's a risk of frost. Grass. Well, my grass has not been mowed recently. It also hasn't been watered, so it looks terrible. It always looks terrible. Why eventually we need to replace it. Fresh sod. And take better care of it. It's very shady as our front yard. It seems to have something to do with it. And it got torn up a lot when they did renovations before, and that never really grew back. And had a dumpster sitting out there for a while. And it's just not very attractive, and as I said, I haven't bothered watering it, and we're now close enough to fall. I don't think I'm going to start. For a while, we were getting rain all the time, and the watering was moot. And even then, even when it was really wet, it still looked kind of scraggling. Okay, so we're almost up to Elphinstone, which turns into what? How does this work? Montague, Argyle come together further down. It's a bit confusing. I always think of the whole street as Elphinstone, but it actually changes names. It's just a kind of a strip mall over here. Once you go across, I will go down to the creek through the waterfall park. That's a condo building over there, and then Tommy's restaurant in that corner used to be called something else. It had a very prairie theme at one point, and they decided to go with a speakeasy theme. And here we are at the Kiwanis Waterfall Garden. Probably jaywalk, but I won't. Cars come around the bend and can't see you, so best not to. All right, so the waterfall park is in there, and we will go follow the winding path here. Follow the great concrete road. Follow the great concrete road. Follow, 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 follow the great concrete road. Our little touch of the mountains here with the pine trees and the waterfall, even though it's a fake waterfall. But right in here, it does remind me of parts around Banff, except for the complete lack of mountains. Ah, Banff. I really want to go back and do another self-directed residency there, but I haven't really had any reason to. So, here's the waterfall. Again, artificial waterfall. It's really, I think it comes. Was my phone, which I did not accept the call, and I'm wondering if I should have, because I forgot my wife's at home, so she might have used that line to call me. Usually she'd use her cell phone though. Usually when I get that, it says I'm calling me. It's voicemail. Okay, now we're back to the creek. Let's go down to the footbridge and over. And we're almost home. Again, the creek is very still this morning, very reflective. Squirrel. Fairly calm one as these things go. It's not running away very fast. More bikes. Good morning. Here's the footbridge over which we will now go. At the end of the walk rather than the beginning. Again, very reflective this morning. And over there is Lakeview neighborhood, which I've walked in many a time and will again. So we started on the dike on that side. Now we will cross over. And as is traditional, we take a look to the west. Very still. And to the east, just as still on this side. And then this time I'll take the dike on this side, since I didn't walk this way to start with. Bushes are starting to grow up more. They cut them down this last year, I guess. I think to make this path more secure, because they had grown up so much that with the trees on this side and the path on that side, nobody could see onto the path. I think that's why they cut them down, and will probably do so again once they've grown up some more. When I first started walking, they were still, which was spring of last year, they were up, my height or taller. They cut them right down, but they're going back enthusiastically. I think we'll go down here. And many sets of stairs providing access to the dike. And why is there a dike? Because there was a really nasty flood in this neighborhood in the 70s. Before this dike was here, I think they built it after that. And it would take a heck of a flood now to come this way. Oh, this tree, which has very beautiful flowers in the spring, is now bearing fruit. They look like cherries. Probably not very edible, though. Don't think I'll try one. They're a little redder than your typical cherry. I don't know if that's a cherry tree or not. I didn't think it was. Certainly blossoms. Has white blossoms, though, not pink, but I guess that can happen with cherries, too. So, I don't know. Anyway, another sign of fall. Everything that had flowers in the spring has fruit now. soon it will have snow and ice on it. But not today. I came up this street when I it's headed the other way, so I'll turn right up here so I'm not following the same path more than this one half a block. Why is their car plugged in this weather? Odd. Can't be a block heater. Also, the block heater cord wouldn't come out from under the door like that, so I don't know what they've got plugged in there. What would you have inside your car you wanted to leave plugged in that you couldn't take inside and plug in? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, there's a nice old pickup. There's a nice Mercedes. Just realized I didn't eat any breakfast before I went out, so I'm looking forward to some more coffee and something to eat when I get home. It's only 9:30, a bit later than I sometimes am because it is Labor Day, so I slept in a whole 45 minutes. I seem to have lost the knack of sleeping in as I get older. By 7 o'clock, I'm ready to get up almost always. And 6:30 is the normal getting up time on work days, so sleeping in doesn't mean what it once did, that's for sure. My daughter, the 21-year-old, still has the knack, though. As did I at that age. And for many years thereafter. Ooh, there's some lovely sunflowers. Taller than me. Because when I first started freelancing, I remember sleeping in. But I was only 34 when I quit my job and became a full-time freelancer. I was still able to sleep in those days. However, I was almost 30 years ago now. It'll be 30 years ago next year since I quit my job and became a freelance writer. 29 years next month, or the month after. I think it was October maybe. October of 93 when I quit my job at the Science Center and went freelance. And then September of 97 when I married an engineer, which was a good career move from an income point of view. So it's our 25th wedding anniversary this month. Silver wedding anniversary. I remember my parents' silver wedding anniversary. I thought they were so old. They would have been only in their 40s because they were married at 19. So for their silver anniversary, they were only 44. Almost 20 years younger than I'm going to be for mine. And I thought they were old. All right. This is our traditional stopping point, so this is where we will traditionally stop here at the Angus Crescent stop sign. So thanks for walking with me, keeping me from being attacked by escaped murderers, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow.